And yet what Reform are able to do is to win in areas that have always been conservative, but equally, we're proving in a big way we can win in areas that Labour have dominated, frankly, since the end of World War I.
I've never heard anything like this in my life. 83% of the seats defended being smashed to matchwood. Just 17% of the seats defended.
But we also made unnecessary mistakes. One of which was that although we were right to level with the public about the scale and depth of the challenges we faced, we didn't do enough to convince them that things will get better, that things will improve. The hope.
So here's what's happening around the world. Left-leaning politicians have taken over a bunch of first world countries, and they flooded the gates with immigration, prioritized diversity, equity, and inclusion instead of focusing on their nation's people or their nation's people's wants and needs. And it's taking a toll. And the prime example that we're focusing on in this video is what just happened in the UK, because Keir Starmer, he's done. He's fini. He needs to get himself a bottle of water because there is no more Keir Starmer after this election that just took place. Keir Starmer, left-leaning party, the Labour Party. Then there's the UK Conservatives, but they're not really conservatives. Then there's a new party that was born out of anger, out of rage for what has happened to the UK people. And it's, well, picking up a lot of attention. It's no longer just faux headlines or false marketing. It's real. The numbers are real. The UK, the Brits have taken their country back, and we're taking a look at it because it's phenomenal, and this is going to have a trickle effect around the world. So the number of council seats at 3:20 p.m. for the election, the new Reform Party went up 704 seats. They now have 706 seats. They went from 2 seats to 704 seats. And the Labour Party is bleeding. Keir Starmer's party in the UK, they had over 700 seats. Now they got 360 seats. And even the Conservatives are bleeding too, because nobody wants anything to do with left-leaning policies anymore. I mean, they've ruined it with immigration, they've ruined it with policies, and now we're going to take a look at what this actually means for the UK. So the UK people have spoken. British men are tired of out-of-control immigration. They're tired of fake conservatism. The UK people yesterday made the pro-immigration government and the fake conservatives pay. So here's the UK local election update. The Reform UK continues to surge, gaining 330 seats so far as Labour and the Conservatives suffer major losses. I mean, people that were lifelong progressives, liberals, or even conservatives are ditching those parties to join the Reform Party to kick all the migrants out and make UK actually British again, because we know what's happened with the UK. It's turned into a Muslim cesspool. Let's have a look at some videos now.
Here are the 3 big reasons why voters here have told us that they've turned their back on Labour.
I'm just interested in how people's vote has changed. How did you vote yesterday?
Labour.
Yeah.
Not Labour, sorry.
Sorry.
Reform.
I'll start that again. How did you vote yesterday?
Reform.
What is it about Reform that appeals to you?
It's just not Labour. Right, that's all I can say.
Anything but Labour. A change.
I've always been Labour.
Who did you vote for yesterday?
Reform.
Why is that?
Because I've tried them all, and they all feather their own nest.
What about Sir Keir Starmer? Is he the problem at the top?
Hell
Do you
yeah.
like him?
No, we don't, no.
Why not?
Big problem.
I just don't.
What annoys me is people have worked all their life and they can't manage. People are coming in and they're keeping them, and they're better off. They don't pay taxes, they don't pay anything.
What is Nigel Farage offering you then?
He's going to stop floaters coming across. Yeah, that's the main one.
Yeah.
We're not racist, is it?
Nowhere near racist. It wouldn't bother me who live next door to me. We're nowhere near racist at all.
But you feel that Labour have not got a handle on it and Reform could?
We've got to give them a chance.
Yeah.
We don't know. You've got to
try.
give people a chance.
This is the thing. is you've got people that will tell you you're racist for saying or even thinking that there's an immigration problem in America, in Canada, in the UK. And the truth is that these places have been flooded. The truth is that 20, 30 years ago, these countries were predominantly white. That's not racist. That's a fact. Just like India. You go to India and it's predominantly Indian people, brown. If I move to India, that doesn't make me Indian. And I wouldn't go around saying I'm Indian. I would get absolutely demolished by the locals. However, that doesn't apply to places like the UK, places like America, places like Canada, because it's now changing, but it might not change in a bad direction anymore. It seems like President Trump, with what he's doing in America, getting a grip on immigration, deporting people, and now the UK is taking control of their own destiny, which is something that is very long overdue.
Chatting to people, there's a sense of pessimism. There's also a sense that they're not being listened to, that Labour aren't delivering on their promises, and Reform definitely seem to be capitalising on that.
Labour said when they won the election that they would make you feel more prosperous.
Yes.
Do you feel more prosperous?
No, I'm worse off.
Can I call you back, Dammy? I voted for independent because we needed someone that listens to the people. Labour has had their chance. Many years they've not been able to do anything. The council tax has gone up dramatically, not just for businesses, just for local people. Everything seems to be going up, but we don't seem to be seeing any change.
For Labour, the fear is that what's happened in places like Tameside is not just merely a protest. It is a political reboot of how voters view political parties. Gone is the two-party system, and now there is a willingness for voters to try new parties, to roll the dice.
I mean, good for them, good for the UK for actually, standing up and taking control of their own destiny. And then Keir Starmer, of course, has a meltdown over it because he realizes, oh, bloody hell, I've gone too far to the left.
People who put so much into their communities, so much into our party and our movement. And that hurts. And it should hurt. And I take responsibility. When voters send a message like this, we must reflect, and we must respond. I think the vast majority of people do understand.
Now we're kind of understanding geopolitical tensions and why they are. Now it makes even more sense why President Trump has absolutely no respect for Keir Starmer, because he was able to predict this. As people that work for President Trump were able to tell him Keir Starmer's on his way out, the Reform Party is going to be taking over, they're going to get a grip on immigration, they're going to boot Keir's out of the country, send him to a Muslim country since he loves it there so much. And that's the way it is. And Macron is next. And who knows, maybe after that, it's Canada, right? So this makes more sense as to why President Trump has been treating other world leaders the way he's been treating those world leaders, because he has no respect for them because of what they've done to their own countries. DEI needs to die. Get rid of it. These Western countries that have adopted this crap, it's disgusting. Do what Japan did. They said, nah, if you're not actually born in Japan, good luck being considered Japanese. It's not going to happen.
We face huge challenges as a country. We've had a series of economic shocks in recent years, and there's a very difficult international situation that we face. They know that. But they still want their lives to improve. They still want to see the change that we promised. They know the status quo is letting them down, and they're frustrated. They don't feel the change. I understand that. I get that. I was elected to deal with these challenges. We made some big calls to stabilize our public finances, to invest in our public services, not to get dragged into a war in Iran. But we also made unnecessary mistakes. One of which was that although we were right to level with the public about the scale and depth of the challenges we faced, we didn't do enough to convince them that things will get better, that things will improve. The hope. And that is why in coming days I'm going to set out the steps that we will take to deliver the change that they want and that they deserve, so that every child can go as far as their talent or ability will take them, not held back by poverty, so that every community can have what it needs, a secure, safe place for everybody to live. Households and families not feeling constantly held back by a cost of living crisis. And a Britain where everybody can feel proud of the place where they live and they work. So these are tough results. But tough days like this, they don't weaken my resolve to deliver the change that I promised at the general election. They strengthen my resolve to do so. Thank you so much for listening.
He's so screwed, man. He is so screwed. This is the end of Keir Starmer. I can't wait for that guy to leave. Either can the rest of, the people, the good people from the UK. These people are, they're insane for thinking they could get away with this. And to be honest, they almost kind of did. Somebody who's been leading the charge against this is, Tommy Robinson with all his patriot, protests that he's done. Hundreds of millions of people have, come to these events over the course of the last several years. And it sucks what has happened to the UK. It sucks that any of this has happened because it absolutely was avoidable. But this is what happens when people just let their politicians get away without holding them socially accountable with radical left policies. And the same thing would go for radical right policies for sure. But flooding a country with immigration, getting rid of the fundamental culture of said country, that's not an answer to anything. Yet the UK has done it this far, and now the people have spoken.
Good morning, everybody. I am delighted to be here in the sunshine outside Havering Town Hall, which I can now say is under new management. And I'm and it's significant. It's our first win of a borough in London, and that in some ways goes against the trend, because the pattern that's emerging over the country is that Labour are being wiped out by reform in many of their most traditional areas, and what you're going to see later on today is the Conservative Party being wiped out in their heartlands like Essex. So London goes a bit against the trend in that the Conservatives and Labour have held up in some of the other boroughs. But I think overall what's happened is a truly historic shift in British politics. We've been so used to thinking about politics in terms of left and right, and yet what Reform are able to do is to win in areas that have always been Conservative, but equally we're proving in a big way we can win in areas that Labour have dominated, frankly, since the end of World War I. At the moment, we're winning 1 in 3 of all the seats that are up, but I genuinely think the best is yet to come. I'm very excited about the North East results, the Yorkshire results, some more to come in the West Midlands. Essex, we're feeling supremely confident, and that's significant given that half the Cheddar Cabinet have seats in Essex. So it's a big, big day. It's a big, big day, not just for our party, but for a complete reshaping of British politics in every way. And it all goes to show that over the course of the last 2 years, since we made that breakthrough in the general election, we have professionalised the party. We've done it at a very, very rapid rate. I'm thrilled and delighted and happy to take any questions.
If you're a Labour voter now, hide behind the sofa. We've got some breaking news in. Analysis now of all of the seats thus far declared. After 10 councils have fully declared their seats, the Labour Party has won only 17%. Wow. 17% of the seats it was defending. Fag packet maths time, 83% loss. 83. Bear in mind, I just told you a moment ago, the historic former loss, and we've got to get the specs out for this one. 66% was the former worst loss in 2025. 83% loss. 10 councils who fully declared their results. Labour has won only 17% of the seats. Reform, however, so far has won 56% of the seats it was contesting. Now, bear in mind, Reform wasn't defending any seats. Every seat is a fresh seat. Now, a jubilant Reform UK leader, Nigel Farage, told GB News at the party's Millbank Towers, "I think what you're witnessing is an historic change in British politics. Forget left-right. There is no more left-right. It is gone. It is out of the window. It's finished." As you can see, we are scoring stunning percentages in traditional old Labour areas. We're currently averaging about 39% of the vote of the seats that are in already. We're currently on 145 seats won. Now, that's out of date because obviously that statement was a while ago. It's now 174 seats won for Reform UK. Nigel Farage continues, "We are way exceeding anything that I thought. We are way exceeding anything that I thought." That's Nigel Farage a few moments ago. And when speaking about his predictions later on Friday, he said, "What you'll see tomorrow is the same pattern repeated across the south when we win Essex by an extraordinary margin and Norfolk by an extraordinary margin." It's worth pausing and just going back to that Labour statistic. I've never heard anything like this in my life. 83% of the seats defended being smashed to matchwood. Just 17% of the seats defended
by a nothing party. I mean, the Reform Party is so new, and it was such an underdog. They had 2 council seats or whatever. Now they hold 706. It's awesome that this is happening. And that's because people got pushed into a position that they didn't ever want to be. So let me pass the question off to you, the obvious question. How do you feel about this? If you're from the UK, even if you're from outside the UK, how do you personally feel about this? But the more important question is, what country is this going to happen to next? Thanks for watching. Hit the like, subscribe. I look forward to seeing you guys in another video. Bye for now.